If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to NBA Player Performance on this Tuesday, May the 6th, 2025, the day after Cinco de Mayo. We were on here talking about tequila yesterday. Apparently, all the players in the league were drinking all afternoon. One of the craziest days in NBA playoff history. I had an absolutely terrible day making picks, trying to make money. I hope somebody had a good day yesterday. It certainly wasn't my bank account and for you guys. But the best thing about this industry, we get to be here and do it all over again. Luke, I see you looking studious today. Off a 10-0 sweep. Why wouldn't you? What's going on, brother?
Got to get nerdy with it. I'm here for the people. You're right. That's the beauty of the industry. I had my best day ever. It was the first time we've swept like, a 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0, even done 9-0. I've never done a 10-0 sweep and hit home. Love you guys in the chat who are on VIP. It was awesome. It was so fun getting all the tickets in the DMs. But as Shark said, it's both the beauty and the curse of this industry. I'm only as good as what I do for you guys today. So I got back in the lab, put on the glasses, did the data analysis today. It's like no other day. I'm here it's no different than any other day. Here to cap, here to spitball with you guys. Fire it up in the chat, like, subscribe, and hit us with the comments. I'm ready for it today, Shark.
Yeah, I want to just open this discussion before we go into the games today, just to briefly give you guys some historical data on what happened yesterday. Luke and I were talking overnight. Luke was up at 3 a.m, I believe, taking care of the kids, just a man of many traits across the board. And we started talking about just how rare what happened was yesterday. I think it started Sunday afternoon. It started with Cleveland losing as the 1 seed as a significant home favorite to Indiana. But yesterday was the absolute heightened level of it. Boston losing at home yesterday at Oklahoma City yesterday. Luke, correct me if I'm wrong. First time in the last 25 years, 2 home favorites in the second round favored by 9 or more points lost outright. Is that correct?
25 years. And it wasn't even just that they lost. It's the fashion that they lost, man. I mean, I of course do props. And so they went great yesterday. That's fine. But I was with you. I mean, I still handicapped the game. It was a favorites line. Anyone that says otherwise, that's fine. It's easy to hindsight bias. But the favorites were the sharp side in all analysis that I could find yesterday. I'll stand by it, even though I'm the props guy and we had a good day, Shark. I was with you on the Thunder and the Celtics to at least win the game. It was just wild. Not only did they not cover, first time in a quarter century that this happens. If that's not outlier, I don't know what is.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it. I bet at least 10% of our followers were not even born in the year 2000. Shout to you guys for being young legends with us here. But, again, when you look at the nature of the game, I was just saying to the chat, and you guys in the chat, please fire up your comments. We're feeling big energy here on a Tuesday. When you see Boston miss an NBA playoff record, 45 three-pointers, outside of just the fact I would say, are you kidding me? And J.A. Cavalier would say, get the fuck out of here. I wanted to actually take a personal flight up to Boston in the fourth quarter. If I could have somehow got there in 25 seconds and just yelled at these players, go to the hoop. You don't have to shoot a 3 every single time. How far does this go down the line? Is there a day in the future where they shoot every single shot in the game from 3? We're already at 65% or higher. Look, when does this insanity end?
It's actually laughable because you and I were talking on the show yesterday. We nailed every prop that we said. Literally, I think both of us hit every prop pretty much. You were saying, should I take Tatum or White to shoot, to make 4+ threes? Well, who cares who you took? They shot 31 combined threes between 2 guys. And then Jaylen Brown chips in a 10% 1 for 10 performance. It's just funny because even if they're cold, these guys continue to chuck. It's mind-blowing. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before in sports. I watched some other guys like Gilbert Arenas. You can, some of those talk shows, it's kind of fun to listen to. These guys are just saying that they don't stop. It's unlike anything before. They do not stop chucking because their methodology in the locker room is that we're going to outshoot them from 3. And at least, is that not what they're being told? It must be, because I don't know.
That is the problem. The problem with this analytics stuff is that there's just no like antidote, basically. Like it's just pressure in one direction only and no pullback. I was talking to the guys in the chat just before the show about football, and I was saying it's like when you see coaches go for 2 every single time in the first quarter, and then they end up leaving a field goal on the table late and they end up losing the game. And I think even the most hyperbolic point just within analytics, going back over the last 10 years in football, the Super Bowl, the Patriots came back on the Falcons 28-3, the notorious 28-3. Patriots don't come back in that game if the Falcons start running the ball. They just kept pressing the pass game. Matt Ryan gets strip sacked late in the game. They're stopping the clock with incompletions. Like analytics are fine. We're studying information and we're trying to prognosticate the right outcome. You have to adjust. And the Celtics have no adjustability. I mean, if you actually look at their roster, they honestly have barely any inside players. Their guards shoot threes. Their forwards shoot threes. Their superstars shoot threes. Their role players shoot threes. And their bigs hang out on the 3-point line and shoot threes. And if you look at Kristaps Porzingis, the guy is 7'4". Like, dude, nobody on the court is even close to your height. Go in there, back them down, and dunk straight over their head. And again, I'm not disagreeing that they can't hit threes because, of course, they can. They tied an NBA record in the opener for 29. It's just the fact that if you're not hitting, adjust. And I'll take a breath on that. OKC let us down late. Same thing. 100 field goal attempts, couldn't hit a shot. We're going to hit shots today. 6:30 already in the books. The energy is live. NBA player performance starts now.
I live the bright lights, the type, the crowd lights. Where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they wanna be me, they paid to come see me. Where you at, ballers?
Tuesday's trend upward. A hell of a Tuesday. It already is. In conference basketball, second round of the playoffs, game 2, Pacers at Cavaliers, 7 o'clock in Cleveland. A lot of moving parts in this game. Luke and I were discussing this. We said yesterday, no injuries. Amazing. Well, here we are. Darius Garland, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley. Not sure who's going to play tonight. I have a bunch of officials in this game. This is where we expect the outliers to begin to reverse. I said it, Sunday afternoon, Indiana by 9, game 2 now. Luke, you got any props? I got a bunch of thoughts.
Absolutely. And shout out to Anand in the chat, one of our regulars. He took the high road last night and did not hate message Chet after the Thunder's performance. Impressive, Anand. Way to hold back and take the higher road there. Props in this game. It does matter. The injuries do matter. Absolutely. 3 important players for the Cavs. Questionable. Do I know who's truly going to play? No, I'm not going to pretend that I know the injury report, but I do believe the books are giving us a little bit of a signal that at least 1 or 2 of the 3 guys will sit. You're seeing guys props like Donovan Mitchell, upwards of 30 points. It's a huge number. It's been moving up. It opened at 27.5. It's up to 29.5. That's showing me they expect a big shooting game out of him again in terms of shot attempts. Other role players, their numbers are increasing. Struce's line moved up throughout today. Jerome's line moved up throughout today. It's telling me these guys, at least 1 or 2 might sit. Just telling you what I'm seeing on the books. Where do I see value? I'm going to give you guys a banger right off the kicker here. Yesterday, Karl-Anthony Towns, we upgraded to a VIP play on the show. This free play is a VIP play for me as well. It's Ty Jerome. I love the guy. What's not to love? He almost won 6th man of the year for the Cavaliers. Peyton Pritchard took that award away, though, this season. But Jerome's a stud. His line is 14.5. The books are projecting a large game for Jerome again tonight. What did he do in game 1? Yeah, the Cavaliers lost. They looked pretty bad. He was one of the silver linings in that game. He scored 21 points, I think it was. Why am I blanking? My notes just went off my screen. I had a couple jotted notes. He had 20-plus shot attempts, which is crazy. A guy off the bench shooting 20-plus times just shows me that he's confident. He's ready for this playoff run. And I love Jerome again tonight, 14.5 points. And what has he done in the first series against the Magic? He averaged 16.3 points per game. Lastly, 1 matchup against the Pacers in the regular season, put up 24 points. So everything for me is trending to a 20-plus point performance for Jerome. Official play, lock it in, Ty Jerome over 14.5 points. Book it.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, we've been talking about Ty Jerome throughout the regular season. Of course, kid coming out of UVA, pre-Tony Bennett resigning. This is the old guard UVA, and he's translated to the NBA incredibly well. I mean, you talk about UVA Cavalier basketball, you talk about slow down pace and defense. I mean, really, some games in less than 100 points in the NCAA tournament going back in time. But Ty Jerome has totally reversed that as a pro. I mean, this guy can score at will. He's an absolute assassin from deep. I wouldn't disagree there, and I think the total agrees with you. Total opened here at 228.5, getting steamed up to 229. And ultimately, I think if Darius Garland-Mobley and Hunter don't play, you could see this classic game with Donovan Mitchell leading the way and just a super high pace and a ton of threes. And, speaking of threes, you go back to game one. This is where this entire broadcast going forward and tomorrow's show as well is really going to be centered in the concept of outliers. Because we saw 3 games in the last 2 days that you'd never expect to see. Both 1 seeds lose at home in game 1 by margin against the spread. And, of course, Boston, the champs, doing basically the same thing, blowing a 20-point lead. But key point on outliers. When outliers happen, they don't repeat. So the next game, you get a fantastic spot to return to normalcy and buy low. And you look at that game on Sunday, it really was just the shooting gap yet again. Indiana won the 3-point battle by 30 points. Cleveland shot 9 for 38 from 3. And, I appreciate you guys in the chat hanging out with us because it gives us almost like a therapy session where we can all vent on this. Because watching it by yourself or with bystanders who don't entirely understand what's going on, it can be frustrating to look at people in a bar and be like, guys, they're like, what? They're losing. It's like, no. There's a lot more complexity to what's going on here. But this is going to be an incredible buy low series here. Cleveland, Boston, OKC. I'm excited for it. But look, let's talk more props. Donovan Mitchell tonight is going to lead the way, as you mentioned. Max Strus, I think, is going to shoot the ball a lot better tonight. The first game, guy was ice cold, 2 for 8 from 3, only 7 points. Did you look at Strus?
You can twist my arm on a lot of Cavaliers here. I think guys are saying in the chat, Jerome's line, even for my first pick, might not even be on books right now. It was this morning it was on books all day. So if you guys are thinking I'm giving you a bad pick, I'm not, I promise. I posted it at 7 a.m. So Jerome should pop back up. If you got it early in the day, his line might continue to go up. But guys like Strus are great value with these injuries because they can hit this line even if all 3 of those players play. That's what I love about this spot, Shark. You can get Strus at, 7.5 points, or what's his line at?
10.5.
Okay, so still, you can get his line at 10.5. He could hit that no matter who plays. If they don't play any of these 3 guys, just super good value. So I love buying these guys low early in the day. Another guy, you mentioned Donovan Mitchell. He's the obvious factor here. 1 of 11 from 3, as you mentioned. Just ice cold 3-point shooting percentage in game 1. He's going to keep chucking it. If you saw, he sucked and he still shot 11 threes. He's going to shoot another 10+ threes tonight. Got to love a guy like that. And if I look to the Pacers, though, for value here, I do like a guy like Miles Turner. He's burned me a couple times because some games they just don't look for him to shoot, but he's incredibly efficient. I mean, he's shooting. He's averaging 16.8 points per game against the Bucks in that series. First game 1, he only got 13 points, but he did well. He shot 56% from the field. I think Turner gets more looks tonight, particularly if someone like Mobley is out. There's room to work in the paint there, but Turner can spread the floor, shoot it from outside. So a pacer I lean to as a small lean value play is Miles Turner over 13.5 points. I think the line might be 14.5 now, but just another look I'm trying to give the chat today.
Yeah, and of course, we're a lot to unpack in these games here. We're getting down to the wire in the NBA season. I want to talk the game side. I'm going to give you guys a free play here. And somebody asked me if this was a Washington Commanders hat, and I almost laughed. I thought, maybe I'm talking Super Bowl, 28-3. No, guys, welcome to the party. We're buying Cleveland here as the top free play for this show, -7.5. I just got this hat in the mail this morning. Nice little print it is. But when you start to really look at a couple other factors here, which I think are incredibly interesting, in the regular season, out of the 4 matchups, Mitchell only played in 2 of the games. 2 of them were played late season, April 10th and April 13th, when Cleveland had clinched the 1 seed. They weren't playing their guys. So you have to go back to Sunday, January 12th and Tuesday, January 14th. Notice what we're saying there. Sunday, January 12th, Tuesday, January 14th. Precisely the same scheduling we see here. And Cleveland did the exact same thing on a Sunday. It was a 6 o'clock tip. I'll never understand this. Anytime it's not 7 o'clock on a weekday, these guys just cannot play ball. We just told you guys Cleveland shot 9 for 38 in game 1, Sunday afternoon. Well, Sunday afternoon, January 12th. I think that was wild card Sunday. Cleveland shot 11 for 41 from 3 at home and lost to Indiana 108-93. Then on Tuesday night in the revenge game, they went to Indiana and put up 127 on them, 36 in the first quarter. Covered the trifecta. Mitchell went off for 35. Max Strus went off for 13. You can't even script this stuff. How beautiful this pattern is. The fact that this playoff series is scheduled almost identically to the regular season, and we saw almost an exact replica performance from Cleveland in game 1 to the wild card Sunday performance. And final point on this to buy Cleveland. Last year, Indiana covered game 1 at New York in round 2. They lost 121-117 at plus 5.5. Staying on the road, game 2 at New York last year. Blowout non-cover in game 2. Conference finals last year, game 1 road Indiana. Super tight non-cover OT loss at Boston, 133-128. Came back game 2 at Boston, margin loss, 126-110. And more than anything here, this is just historically great stuff to buy. It's a 1 seed, the best record in the conference. They can't lose 2 in a row at home. And truthfully, if some of these principal players don't play, I think we could see even more of an efficient performance from Cleveland. It's the classic regular season player removal theory, but here we are. We're going to get a great run from these guys tonight. So top free play on the board, and I have 4 VIP plays as well by Cleveland. And let's dominate. Next game of the card, 9:30 in Minnesota. Wolves hosting the Warriors. Round 2, game 1. Very interesting game here. Warriors off of game 7. Wolves off a break. We told you guys last night, well, Denver, game 7. OKC full rest. OKC's going to kick their ass by 30. That didn't work out too well. Here we have basically the same scenario. These historical spots in NBA basketball sometimes just don't hit. Golden State going to come in here and win tonight, Luke? I mean, I was trying to figure this game out. Tough game, in my opinion.
I learned after last night not to predict the outcome and to stick to my props market. It's hard to see Golden State getting a win in this spot again due to fatigue, game 7, all those things. But at the same time, it's the Western Conference. These are 2 elite teams. It could be anyone's game. And I've seen Minnesota play well. I've seen Minnesota play poorly. Of course, they've looked really good in the Lakers series. Anyways, all that to say, I don't know who's winning tonight, Shark, but I do know that I like Julius Randle as a strong free play lean tonight simply because of the functionality of the play. So all eyes tonight by Warriors defense, I assume, are going to be on Ant-Man. Steve Kerr's likely going to have a game plan to try and slow him down. Randle's been really – this is shocking. Never before in my career have I said Julius Randle has had consistent dominant performances in the postseason. He's typically been, kind of a flop in the postseason, to be honest. When on the Knicks team, he's been anything but that. He's averaging 22.6 points per game so far in the opening round against the Lakers. And why was that? LA did not have interior presence. Randle was able to attack the rim, get to the free throw line, and he's going to do the same thing against a pretty small Golden State team. They lack the same interior presence. And the books here, this is the last important point, they show huge value on the over here. Randle only averaged 15 points per game in the regular season in 4 matchups against Golden State. What do the books do? They put his line above his season average at 20.5. I love this. I love everything about it. I think Randle puts up about 24 plus points tonight. He's got the hot hand. He's confident, and he's got a good matchup. Take Randle over 20.5 as an official free play.
Yeah, 24 points is a big game for him, particularly in a game that's projected to be pretty low. In terms of the game, we said this to you guys last night. We expect unders. The Denver game, forget it. Just throw it in the trash. Complete outlier. But Boston game last night, tried to go under. Actually ended up pushing in overtime, 108-105. Fantastic stuff there, guys. I was real thrilled about that. But this game is also projected to be a significant under. If you go through the regular season matchups, the first thing that really stands out to you here, Jimmy Butler did not play for the Warriors in any of the games this year against Minnesota. The games were played December 6th, December 8th, December 21st, and January 15th. The Warriors did play well against Minnesota on the road without Butler. I think that could translate here to the Warriors competing incredibly well in this series. And I honestly think the Warriors could win this series. The two road games this year, Golden State did win outright as a small dog, 113-103. And they won again on January 15th at +5.5, 116-115. And speaking of +5.5, that's the opening line in this game. Minnesota's getting steamed up in the market. They are 6.5 now. I think that's just people betting against the Game 7 fatigue idea. As I said, it didn't apply last night with Denver at all. And I do think that Minnesota is potentially not going to function well in this spot. I think to a certain degree what you saw with OKC last night could apply to Minnesota. They've just been off for a while. They're out of sync. They just might not be seeing the hoop well. Hopefully that does not apply to Julius Randle, of course. But going back through the last 3 seasons in this Anthony Edwards upward movement era, Minnesota has also not been a great home team in the playoffs. They're 5-7 ATS last 12 at the Target Center in any round of the playoffs. And if you guys remember last year in the second round, very bizarre series against Denver, where the road team won the first 4 games before it started to normalize. And I think you have to remember, yet again with this stuff, Anthony Edwards is still very young. I believe he's only 23. He came in the league very young out of Georgia. So he doesn't have a ton of postseason experience. And you saw it in round 1. They kind of just overwhelmed like a poorly constructed Laker team. Of course, Laker fans may have not disagreed with that comment, but now they probably do after seeing their team lose in 5, looking horrible in the process. But Luke, I think when you see Minnesota beat the Lakers, you kind of have to say, I think that was because the Lakers didn't perform well as opposed to Minnesota performing great. The last game, Minnesota shot 7 for 47 from 3. I mean, I can't wait to watch these shows back in 10 years and be like, Boston missed 45 threes last night. Minnesota shot 7 for 47 and still beat the Lakers in their last game. This is lunacy at this point, Luke.
It's crazy statistical, outlier situations, but that's the variance in the game today. And you're right. I don't think that Minnesota, their series win against LA did not feel like their series wins last year where they were really a powerhouse. You're like, oh my God, this team's up and coming. They're playing better ball down the second half of the season this year, and they're doing well, but it just doesn't feel as exciting per se. We're going to learn that this series, though. We're going to see what they're made of. Can they continue this upward trend and hype? I think this is a series where the statement is made. So interesting stuff. I will say, outside of Julius Randle as a spot play for me with line functionality favoring the over, the prop market in this game is unders. I do see value on the unders in this game, and I expect the total in the game, as you alluded to be an under. Just like Game 7. That was one of the plays I really saw huge value in the under for Warriors Rockets. As you guys saw, I was able to make it a huge play for props by kind of teasing the under with a baseball prop. Huge spot there. I loved it. I do like the under, not near as much as I did in that game, but I think it's an underplay here for sure. Maybe we'll have to put that in our parlay here at the end of the show.
Yeah, for those of you guys that are not with Luke's VIP, the genius of this man is correlating Logan Webb K's on a Sunday to Dubs Rockets playoff basketball. I mean, Luke, what's next? International water polo? Where are you going with this?
You never know where the value lies and what a guy can come up with when he's sitting in his basement capping. And man, that's where it took us to the promised land. So let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, but staying on this in terms of the under, just in terms of the numbers, and this is what I said last night with the Boston, New York handicap, all the numbers in the regular season were just so much higher So the books were telling us a much slower game was coming. And you saw it. The game was 100 to 100 in regulation. Same thing here. The lines in the regular season were 221.5, 217.5, 216.5, 215.5. So the books continuously moved it down. And now through all of that, they move it even further down here at 207.5. I have this game to finish at 199 points. And, truthfully, in terms of the Julius Randle prop, I think if he scores more, that actually leans towards the team scoring less.
I agree.
Because just stylistically, I'm sure you guys have watched this guy, and if you haven't, I'll give you a little breakdown. He's your classic, 1997 half-court player. He's not open court. There's no pace. He holds the ball forever. I think that's part of the reason why the Knicks traded him, to be perfectly honest, because he was kind of holding the offense to a standstill. Every time he caught the ball, it was just ISO ball, drain 6, 7, 8 shot clock points down. So oddly paradoxical, but Julius Randle scoring more means less for the overall game. Luke, did you consider that concept?
Yeah, great take there, Shark. Thank you for kind of ad-libbing to it. I totally agree. I think it correlates with what the books are showing. There's a lot of under props, a lot of under value. Yeah, his prop is higher than his season average, way higher than what he's done against him in the regular season. The only thing that makes sense is a projected over in a style of play that you just suggested. So I like it. The numbers back it. Will it pan out? Of course, there's always variables. We don't know, but it's a sharp take in my mind on the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the top look in this game would be the under. The only way this goes over, in my opinion, is if somehow Minnesota just shoots 65% from the field, because I don't see pace in this game at all, and I think it's both sides of this game. I mean, Minnesota in this window with Finch, they've been a great defensive team. They don't play with pace, and the Warriors with Jimmy Butler play an incredibly slow pace. And I think with the Warriors coming off of Game 7, the last thing they want to do from an energy standpoint is get into a sprint up and down the court. So the Warriors are going to be trying to slow this game down from the opening tip. Steph's going to be walking the ball up the court. And I've seen Edwards play now for a couple seasons. Edwards kind of does play to the opponent in terms of pace. If the Wolves are playing the Grizzlies and Ja Morant's just getting up and down at an absolute blistering pace, you'll see Edwards shoot threes and just be wild. But if he's playing a slower paced team, you saw it with the Lakers, they just slow it down. And I think that's an interesting point on Edwards. At some point, he needs to dictate what he wants to do with the game, not react to the other team. That's not to say Minnesota's not going to play well tonight, but I do think the under is absolutely the best look in this game. Great conversation there. Under would be the best look. 27.5 minutes. We're going to go into the other spots, but we got best bets. Tuesday's trend upward. Luke off a 10-0 card. Luke, I expect 11-0 tonight. What do you got?
It's got to be a banger. 10-0 was yesterday. Let's do it again. For those of you that haven't joined VIP, we're going to try and run back to 10-0 today. So join VIP. Got a ton of picks posted. The best bet last night was Peyton Pritchard on this show. I think we've hit three straight best bet props on the show. Let's make it 4. It's got to be Ty Jerome. Please lock this in as soon as you can if you haven't already. I posted earlier in the morning. The line's only going up, but the best bet has to be Ty Jerome for me tonight. I love his over. It's Ty Jerome officially over 14.5 points. I like him. If you can get a 15.5, I even like it up to 16.5, probably where I draw the line. I think he goes for 20 plus tonight. So long-winded, Ty Jerome over 14.5.
Yeah, and I put this hat on for good reason. Buy hat, engaged, top free play for me on this card, -7.5. I do have another free play on Instagram. I will drop it in the parlay we're about to create. We're going to hit one of these eventually. I mean, last night, are you kidding me? We hit every prop, and we lose the freaking money lines with Boston and OKC. I mean, let's get into another parlay. If you guys are in the chat, get ready. We're going to hit one of these before the end of the season, I promise. And the key point, it's plus 42 to 50 units every time you hit it. So we're still up easily up 30 units in these parlays. Luke, let's get it going.
Yeah, anytime you hit one, you get 2 months free of parlays, and then we're gonna hit another one before that's due. So you're gonna rack up bankroll if you continue to do it. Yeah, and last night, my God, we should have really truly hit it, and it's not a joke to say that. Both of those money lines were there. They should have had them. Anyways, on to tonight. Let's start it off. I I want to include Ty Jerome, but some people are saying he's not on the books. So we'll start it off somewhere else. I'm gonna go with a fade in the Warriors T-Wolves game. I'm gonna go Podziemski. His line is really suggesting an under. I love Podziemski. You guys know that, but it's a spot for me on his prop overs. So I'm going under. Bernsey, just put PODZ. It's pods under 11.5 points tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean, we were spot on to Podziemski. I believe it was game 4?
Yeah, it was game 4. Yep.
And he had a career game. He scored, I believe, 27 points. But if you guys were watching game 7 over the weekend on Sunday night, Podziemski looked like a total fish out of water. I mean, like, he looked genuinely uncomfortable. And I think that this series is going to play similar to some of those heavyweight fight type of games that were played against Houston. As we just said, we think the under is the best look in this game. This game is going to be pretty close to the way that Ime Udoka tried to defend the Warriors. And I just think Podziemski, he's going to be the type of guy that's going to learn how to play in the playoffs. He's just not used to being closed out on like that. The physicality at the 3-point line. He couldn't get a shot off. And he'd pump fake, and the top defenders would just stay on. Like, they're not biting on the fake, they're not diving into him. It's totally different quality of defense he's facing here. So I totally agree with that. I'll drop. We're gonna go with Cleveland money line minus 305. That's 100% a play. Want to throw the Dubs under in there as well?
Yeah, I was gonna say please include that because I co-sign it. So that what is the line currently?
210.5 currently.
Okay, so that's Warriors, T-Wolves under 210.5.
And my other free play, I said I would include it in the parlay for you guys. Donovan Mitchell 3 points or 3-pointers made over. I want to see what the line is now. It was 3.5 this morning. It might have ticked up a little bit. Let me see here. Hold on. It is over 3.5, and now it's juiced. I dropped it early this morning at 3.5 at plus 100.
Yeah,
now it's minus 130. So
I was gonna say it was plus money. It's trending towards some good closing line value there. So is that four plays we're at?
Yeah, and just one point for you guys that try to look at lines like we do, just cross-reference markets and stuff. DraftKings has a very interesting thing where they have 2 markets for the shooters. They have just 3s on like a scaled up marketplace, and then they have a flat number, which you just have to bet the over under, which is of course 3.5. But in their scaled up marketplace, to go over 3, they have that graded at minus 295. Are you kidding me? Like, that is unbelievable. And to go over 4, they have minus 130. So it's really just an incredible spot. And, we said it earlier, but I don't know if I actually said it when we were breaking that game down. Mitchell shot 1 for 11 from 3 on Sunday. Like, come on, dude. Like, what? And if you guys remember, we gave you guys Mitchell over against Miami in game 4. He did not go over, but that's because it was an incredible blowout and he barely played in the second half. But he did have, I believe, 22 points in incredibly limited duty. He was scoring about 1 point per minute in the game. And if you guys watched game 4 in Miami, Mitchell came out blazing hot in the first quarter too. I think he had like 10 plus in the first quarter. I think he hit 3 threes in the first quarter. So he's going to just go nuts tonight. I believe he will absolutely get over 4 or more threes tonight. So that's a great look. Luke, so that's how many is that? 5 or 4?
That brings us to 5, I believe. So I'm going to throw in one more Cavs take here. I know he's questionable. So if this play gets voided, that's fine. Then our parlay goes down to 6 legs. But I'm seeing his lines moving upward pretty quickly, which is showing me that I think DeAndre Hunter might be one of the guys to play tonight. So I'm taking Hunter over 20.5 PRA. I like that.
Yeah, I'm seeing another just crazy price gap here on DraftKings with Max Strus threes. In the 3s over under flat market, they have over 2.5 as the number, minus 160, which is obviously crazy juiced. But for the parlay, I don't mind that at all. Okay. But in the scaled up market, they have Max Strus at 3+ minus 170.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm telling you guys, when you study this stuff, like Luke and I do, you see these price gaps and these discrepancies in the markets, and it's mind blowing. Just to reiterate that, over 2.5 is minus 160. The other market, 3 or more, is minus 170. Like, what are we doing?
It's literally the same stat. You know, I mean, if the man makes 3, you cover. Like, that should not happen.
It's cheaper to get over 2.5 than it is 3 plus minus 170.
We can't pass it up. Add that in the parlay. Should that be the last leg?
It has to be. I think he could honestly get 3 3-pointers in the first like 15 minutes of this game.
I think this game, we both agree this game should go over. It should be very fast paced, especially if any guys sit out. We both agree the Cavs play well. A lot of our plays correlate to this. So correlation's huge in a long parlay, guys. I think we dialed one up today, Shark. Burnsy, if you have it, perfect timing. Look at this. I love it.
So Pajemski under points, Cavs money line, Warriors T-Wolves under, Mitchell over 3.5 threes, Hunter over 20.5 PRA, Strus over 2.5 threes. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. 6 legs. I think, what does that pay? It probably pays like 40 to 1 or something like that.
Yeah, I would say around there. And all of these correlate. I mean, the 2 in the late game correlate. Everything else correlates. That's huge. That's what you want to do to get your best odds here in a parlay. I'm just making sure we didn't miss one. I thought we had 7. No, I guess that's everything we said, isn't it? Moneyline, Warriors under. Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, we'll hit one of these, so we'll hit that. Yeah, so that wraps that. Let's catch the parlay. We'll do some questions and let's get it.
Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
Questions on a Tuesday. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of conversation here given the nature of what's been going on in these games over the last couple of nights. But if you guys have questions, we're here for probably 5, and we love the conversation. So if you have any questions, drop them now. And if we have any above, Burnsy, I don't know if we had any starred from before, and we can run through that. So just drop them on the screen, and we will jump into it. Luke, TJ McConnell over 3.5 assists.
McConnell, I do love me some TJ McConnell. He's a great player. He opens the floor. He runs and guns. And he shouldn't be as good of an NBA player as he is with his God-given talent and ability, but he makes the most of it. You have to love it. I'm showing this is interesting. I would have said over because I hadn't looked at this as a VIP take. It just didn't show value on the initial screen. So I hadn't dug in. The numbers are showing under 3.5. They're projecting for exactly 3. Interesting, because at surface level, I would have said the over is just my gut lean. So interestingly enough, they're saying under. I'm going to go against the numbers here, Chris. If I had to lean, I'd lean over with you because I think he gets enough playing time in a fast-paced game to spread the love here. So small lean on the over with you, Chris. That'd be my gut play.
Yeah, I was going to say that this seems to be dependent on playing time. Like we said with Aaron Wiggins last night, he actually only got 5 points, crazily enough, on that 5.5. Of course, Dort and Caruso had 20 last night. You see that? I mean,
crazy.
We nailed the line. The line read was perfectly spot on, but that would be dependent on play time almost exclusively. So, Luke, looking at over from McConnell, definitely playing time dependent.
I would like to just hit on this point, Shark. Remember this for the show. Do the Thunder play again tomorrow? I think they do. Yes. I like Caruso as a fade spot now. I actually think he's going to come off that number. I think the Thunder, not to get into tomorrow's game, I think the Thunder, the SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet, Hartenstein, I think all these guys dominate the ball possession and shot attempts tomorrow. Caruso under, just to prep us for tomorrow. I think that's going to be a good look. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. All right, next question here. Turner over 1.5 threes. You were talking about Miles Turner before, I think, right?
Yeah, I love Miles Turner. I'd lean over. I don't love betting his 3-point line simply because he doesn't always shoot a lot of attempts. But let's see what that's priced at. I have it priced at, that's pretty juicy. I love the over, like if you can get it, but I'm showing like minus 170. So throw it in a parlay if you want TT Williams. I don't mind it, but I'm not going to bet that as a single straight bet. Just too much juice for me.
Yeah, on DraftKings, they actually have it at 2.5 over at plus 135.
Okay.
Which is oftentimes a strong take. Like we said this last night with the Derek White and Jason Tatum numbers. Both of them were numbers higher than their season average. and at right in that same range. They were plus 130. They both hit last night. So you talk about in terms of where the books are trying to bait one side or the other. Turner is only averaging 2.1 on the season. His over line is higher. 2.5 under is minus 175. And oftentimes people fall into this trap. They just see the flat average. They say he averages 2.1. The number's above it. Basically, we're free rolling the under, where it's the polar opposite. The books are telling you the average is moving up in this small window within this game, and they're pricing the under higher to overprice for people in that market. So just a key point there. I actually think the over for Miles Turner is a sharp take for our guy. What was that? TTTT Williams? Yeah. I like it.
Sharp stuff there, Shark. Sharp stuff.
All right, next one. Does Rudy Gobert take advantage of the Warriors tonight? Points and rebounds over. Just before I throw it to you, I want to say this. We were calling out Rudy the other day, and as I always say, we don't dislike athletes. Like, if we were hanging out with them, I'd say I got so much respect for you guys. Like, every single player in the league, like, they're just incredible guys. They work their ass off to get to this point. You talk about God-given talent or not. T.J. McConnell, perfect example of this. The guy literally has the body of a dude that could be working at Walmart. I mean, really, and just trains like after work and just is in shape. He is literally just an average guy. He's like 6 feet and he just trains. And there's certain guys that just work so hard. You have to respect the hell out of them. Rudy Gobert, obviously very gifted, but I do think in terms of his ability to continue what we saw in the last series, Luke, what did he have in that game? 27.
Yeah, I pulled it up because I cannot guess right on Gobert in that Lakers series. So I'm staying away, Anton, simply because he's been so hard to read. I mean, he went completely, essentially a non-factor for 4 games. He was averaging 3-point-something points per game for 4 games. And then he drops 27 and 24 rebounds. And that is truly one of the best I've ever seen from a big man, simply from points and rebounds production in 40 minutes of gameplay. Like, they played him the whole game. So I cannot get there tonight. It's hard not to lean over here because Golden State doesn't have a huge interior presence. They're playing guys like Quentin Post. Of course, Draymond Green, is a post presence at times. But Kevon Looney, he doesn't play much lately. So I would lean over. But if the Warriors get out to a lead, the only thing I'd caution you with, the Warriors get out to a lead playing small ball, trust me, I believe the Timberwolves will respond with small ball. Randall will be their big man. Naz Reid will be their big man. So it's a totally dependent on gameplay and game flow. I can't quite get there strongly on either side.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it here. Rudy his number is actually short versus his average. His season average points and rebounds is 22.6, and the line is 21.5, and it's juiced to the under as well. So it's the exact same thing we were just talking about in terms of where the books have the line. The books have him graded to a small under. Again, these are not like blowout lines. Like, he's probably not going to come out here with like 10 and you're going to win this bet by 13. It's going to be somewhere in the range of like 18, 19, or 20 most likely, but it's an under lean for sure here. And just be careful, again, looking at recency bias and expecting it to continue. We've said this numerous times over the last few weeks as we get into a little bit more of like a teaching conversation when there's less games on the card. But most of the time, the average is moving the other direction from what you just saw, particularly when the game was a complete outlier. Like Rudy Gobert having 27 and 24 was like one of the best games of his life. So for him to back that up again with the same type of game, probably not. So look the other way, particularly when something has been like insanely outlierish in recent history. Nem hard or Nem soft tonight, over under points. Looks like our guy in the picture there took that picture on the top of a ski mountain. I love it. Hopefully that was a great ride. Luke, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, and great wordplay here. Nem hard, Nem soft. I know he played a great game 1, but all the numbers are showing me they showed an under for game 1, and they're showing me a small value on the under again tonight. So official lean, it has to be under. I'm playing the numbers, and I don't think he keeps up this efficient of offense for a guy that doesn't historically shoot a ton. But yeah, I'm going Nem soft tonight, Sam. Appreciate the question.
It's interesting. Our guy Alex Kudo here, just segueing right off that, says my favorite pick is Neesmith. Oh, that's a different player. Excuse me. Well, let's just jump into it. Talk about all these freaking guys with like the same names. We got Nemhard, Neesmith. What else? I mean, all right. I thought it was the same player for a half second. It's not, but Luke, talk to us on that one.
The Pacers have a bunch of guys that do similar stuff. I don't blame you. So I'll save this one though. If you have a take on a shark, go ahead. But I have Neesmith on my VIP card, and I can't give away all the VIP on the show. So this one, you can get my cheap season package for. I'm backing tonight's NBA. It's 5-0 or the rest of the playoffs free for just $49. So you can get that. Burnsy can drop the link in the chat or my Telegram link in the chat. I'm saving the Neesmith for VIP clients.
All right, this is a good conversation. This is very much correlated to the Randall take and the whole idea we were saying where if the Warriors play slowly, Ant will also match that slow pace. This is a really interesting one. Abe with a great question here. Luke, did you look at this one? Ant under 41 PRA.
I love trying to figure this one out. I don't have a super strong take on it. It's just I could see it going both ways. Ant's fun to try and predict. I don't think there's a lot of value on this. I think where you're leaning here, Abe, is the correct play because we love the under in the game. The only reason that I can't get confidently on the under is because Ant's usage rate in playoff games is so high. He will demand the ball a lot, but it's going to be slower pace. It's going to be like slower efficiency. So I lean under. It would just be the fact that he's going to play a lot with the ball is the only hesitancy I have.
Yeah, and just jumping off that, my guy Ben Rash. Ben, what's going on, brother? Longtime follower for me, one of my top guys out in the West Coast, says, what do we think about Ant over 11.5 R and A? I mean, we're getting, as we said, more and more precise here with the obscurity, but this is the top analysis.
Yeah. Do you have a take on this, Shark? I
honestly, I do think if he was going to accumulate statistics for the PRA, I do prefer the over R and A
rather than the points. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I haven't capped this. Ben, great question. Just really candidly looking at this for the first time, I do think an over is probably the sharp look. And I'm sure you did look at it probably in some detail before you posed the question. So we appreciate that. Luke, any thoughts on it?
I would actually just co-sign what you're saying. I said his under in PRA. That's mostly because I don't think he's going to put up 30 plus tonight. I think that, rebounds could be a plenty tonight for good defensive teams playing in an under. So I like that. And then in assists, he's likely going to get really – actually, you know what? The more I'm talking into this, I like the R&A, Ben, because I think Kerr's going to have a pretty solid game plan. Ant's going to have the ball a lot. I think they're going to force it away. At least Golden State has phenomenal help defense, maybe the best in the NBA. So, yeah, I actually think I would like the R&A as a value play here, Ben. I talked myself into it, and I really think we have some value there.
Yeah, we got to give Ben some commission when this hits. We'll send him a couple grand. Ben, hang out, brother. But anyway, I believe that's the last question. Burns, do we have one more, perhaps? All right, here we go. Plug says Halliburton over 13.5 rebounds and assists. And I'll just say preemptively, I've always been in this small window kind of surprised that Halliburton doesn't shoot the ball more. I mean, he's a great shooter, and he's very passive. He looks to distribute, and I think that could be a certain point tonight. So, interesting point. I haven't capped it, but Luke, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll just be quick with this one because I don't have a super long take on it. I love that you guys are bringing the R&A and these obscure prop lines to us. I agree with Shark's take. Halliburton should be more aggressive shooting the ball, in my opinion, but he just hasn't historically. And for that reason, in a high-scoring projected game, I like him to dish the ball a lot. I like the assist potential. He's not a huge rebound getter, so you're going to need him to have 10, 11, 12 assists, but he truly could almost cover this line with a huge assist game on it by himself. So, yeah, I lean over.
Yeah, I would lean towards the over as well. Obviously, did not handicap it, but we appreciate you guys. Great questions. The questions get better by the day, and I think you guys are starting to handicap in a pretty sharp way because this exhibits a lot of research on your guys' part alongside us. We appreciate that. Luke, we're going to close it out. Give him some words, and I'll finish up.
Close it out simply with appreciation. 10-0 is not likely to happen again tonight, but I'm going to try and run it back. Thank you for everyone who believes in us, and not only on the VIP side, paying their dollars to ride with us, but those that are here for the free picks and hanging out. That's what we're here for, is just true positive energy. We love you guys. Let's cash some more tickets in the prop game. Could we go 20-0 and do something no one's ever done? Why not? Why not us? Let's leave it at that. Appreciate you guys. See you back here tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. NBA player performance on a Tuesday for J.A. Cavalier, cashing tickets across the world. The prop master off a sweep. I'm about to turn up my quality tonight as well. We appreciate you guys immensely. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
Cut my life into pieces. is my